everyone and welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you're new. My name is Katarina. Today's video is going to be my October reset, but it's also going to be a Chatty Get Ready with me. I started filming these monthly resets a couple of months ago, and I really do want to keep filming this because I believe that a new month can really be a great place for a fresh start. So you can reflect back and set some new goals and intentions, but I think for my channel it is more fitting to do them as a Chatty Get Ready with me rather than a sit-down video where I just talk. So yeah, September was a great month, and I actually did film a kind of like watch up Chatty Get Ready with me video a couple of weeks ago, and in that I talked about my studies. So I'm not going to talk about that too much today, but my studies did continue in the beginning of the month, so it has of course been my main focus. And I will say that I feel for the past couple of months that I have been doing these monthly resets, I set too many goals for myself, and especially smaller goals. Like, it was just too much. I try to from now on focus on the big picture. Also with the kids, you know, being sick and home from the daycare, of course on those days I don't have enough time to study. So then I realized that, you know, when it comes to other things like YouTube, I need to take a step back. I don't have as much time for it. So I actually had a goal of uploading 2 YouTube videos a week, but I think it was around midway through September when I realized that this goal is not realistic for me. And I know that 2 videos a week doesn't sound like a lot because there are people who upload every single day. But the reality for me is that I do have so much going on in my life currently. I was able to put up multiple videos a week before getting kids, but now I do have children, I do have my studies, I want to take better care of my body. I do study from home using the computer, so I don't want like all of my free time go to YouTube being on the screen. I need to get out, do my workout, get some fresh air, not think about anything and not look at the screen. By the way, my concealer is a little bit too light. I probably need to get a darker one to mix this in with, but this is the only concealer I have right now, so we're going to use it. But yeah, I find it a little bit stressful to have that 2 videos a week goal, because I really had to take time from every single day to do something YouTube related, and it really started feeling a little bit stressful and not so fun anymore. So I think it has also been a good thing to take a step back from this 2 YouTube videos a week goal, just to enjoy YouTube more. There has still been weeks when I have done 2 videos, because you know, sometimes there are just those weeks when even if I have video ideas, I don't necessarily have the motivation to film and edit. But then next week I might be full of energy and motivation, and you know, I think you can see it if I feel kind of like forced to film. Like, it doesn't feel authentic. Yeah, I just feel it's better for me when it really comes from heart and wanting to do the videos. Then one thing that I want to talk about is my fitness journey, but I'm just going to mention it pretty quickly, because then I do film this whole series about it. I do update it in every 3 months. I did set a bunch of workout goals for myself last month, and for the most part I have reached them. Then also I set some dietary goals, and I decided that my diet is something I don't want to talk about at all anymore in these monthly reset videos. But I did start last month working out again after years break, and it has been great. I'm really excited about the workout currently. It was really hard for me to start. I had a year's break, but now it's going really good. I think starting is always going to be the hardest part, but now I feel I kinda need to watch myself, because then when the motivation kind of fades a little bit, or maybe when I get a little bit sick for the first time and I need to take a break because of that, you know, that is kind of like another hard part for me, when in the past I have quit so many times. But then again, I feel for me it's kind of like a fine line between resting because I really need it, and then being lazy, procrastinating, giving excuses for myself, and then noticing that, oh, it has been a month since I last worked out. That's something that has happened for me in the past for so many times. So I just wanted to say it out loud that this is something I have been struggling with, and I try to be kind of like more careful now. And the most important thing is to remember that I need to make long-term sustainable lifestyle changes rather than, you know, try to get super fit really quickly. But yeah, I think that is everything about that topic that I want to say. Then the last thing I want to mention about September is kind of like the highlight of the month. So when it was my husband's birthday, we went to watch the Lord of the Rings theater. That is a pretty big thing here in Finland currently. Yeah, we were really excited to go. We are huge Lord of the Rings fans. I'm not kidding when I say that in our wedding, when we got married, like not in church, but in this government building. But when we were walking down the aisle, we had music from the Lord of the Rings playing there. So that's how much fans we are. I will say that some parts of the movies or the books that were my personal favorite, they kind of rushed through or almost like skipped completely. For example, the Battle of Minas Tirith, it was just really quick and that was a little bit disappointing. But at the same time, I understand that, you know, first of all, it's really difficult to get 3 books worth of stuff or even 3 movies worth of stuff into just 4 hours with 2 breaks in it. And then also I do understand that in theater, a battle like that can be a little bit more difficult to execute. So yeah, that was, you know, a little bit disappointing for me, but in general I think it was such a great show. I really did enjoy it. It was fun to go with my husband because we don't have too much time for just for the 2 of us. So it was really fun to go, and I think the theater was really well made, like all of the effects and the characters and everything. If there's anyone from Finland watching and you have also gone to see the show, let me know what you thought about it. The last video that I posted, actually yesterday, I'm filming today on October 1st. So yesterday I posted the video where I was questioning my color season, warm autumn, because I really do believe that I am a bright spring instead of warm autumn. And so far, everyone who has commented on the video seems to agree with me that the bright colors look so much better for me than the muted autumn colors. And I really have felt that autumn makeup looks really muddy on me, and technically I should be able to pull those look off better if I was a muted season. But what I find is the most flattering look for me personally is to keep my eyeshadow look light and then do a brighter lip. So that's what we are going to do today. By the way, I am not right now sure if I want to continue my eyeshadow panning project. This is something that I talked about in a different video, in the one where I talked about my expired eyeshadows. So when those eyeshadows were gone, I kind of had this moment where I didn't feel like I want to continue panning at all. Then I kind of started thinking that okay, maybe I will do it, but do it kind of like as a usage-based thing. But now, since I realized that I am probably a bright spring instead of warm autumn, and I noticed that for me, with eyeshadow, less is more, the progress that I would make with panning would be so slow. So I think it might be a little bit discouraging, and it might be a little bit disappointing for my subscribers to watch, because in the past I have made better progress. In the past I have totally gone for darker eyeshadow looks, what I have wanted, because I wanted to make better progress. But then I didn't feel beautiful in those looks. I feel the looks aged me. I am also afraid that that would happen again if I started, or if I decide to continue the eyeshadow panning project. But I am kind of like a little bit afraid to quit. Also, because I know that there are people who are watching for me because of eyeshadow panning. Let me know what you think. Either way, I'm going to skip my update for September, because in September I didn't wear eyeshadow for too much. I'm going to close the curtains a little bit. I think there's light coming and it's not really even to my face. So that is the eyeshadow. I'm going to line my eyes and do mascara off camera, so I will be right back. So let's move from September to October. As I said, I don't want to set so many small goals because I find that is just overwhelming for me, and I just don't care to talk about every single small goal, but instead I kind of want to focus on the big picture. By the way, I'm adding just a little bit of bronzer. Bronzer is one of those products where I tried to read Bright Spring makeup recommendations where it said that it's not really recommended but it can work, so I tried to put on just a little bit. I guess I'm kind of used to wearing bronzer, but that is the product that makes my makeup look the most muddy. What I am the most excited about in the month of October is that it's going to be the 10-year anniversary of my husband and I. Or we have been together for like 13 years and now it will be 10 years of marriage. Saying that out loud makes me feel old, and I know that I am not old. I am 32 years, but I think why it makes me feel that way is that here in Finland people typically get married a little bit later. It's not really typical that people get married in their early 20s. A lot of the people have not found someone to marry at that age, but also those who are in a serious relationship often don't have money, and I don't think in our culture it is really typical that the parents pay. So it is actually really common that first people move in, then they have kids, and then they get married a little bit later. But we did get married when I was 22 years old and my husband was 27 years old. So no, I am not old, but just saying that we have been married for 10 years, it sounds like a lot. It's a long time. It has been like almost a third of my life. But yeah, I am excited about the wedding anniversary. My mom and my sister are coming here to watch the kids, and my husband and I are going to take some sort of a small trip for a night or two. Most likely it will be 2 nights at Tallinn, Estonia, but we have not booked our trip yet, so we'll see. I will update you in a month where we went and how was it. Originally we wanted to go to Edinburgh, Scotland, but unfortunately we cannot afford that sort of trip right now. You know, I'm a student currently. My husband also is a student and he only has a temporary contract to work. So in winter he's probably not working, and then he will work again next spring and summer. During winter time when he's not working, it's going to be tight. So because of that, we're not spending our money into a more expensive trip right now. So yeah, that's why we don't want to fly anywhere. But eventually we do want to go to Edinburgh. It has been my dream city vacation for years now, for almost like a decade. But yeah, I do have some goals for myself for the month of October. I do have some studying goals, and I'm not going to bore you with all of the courses and what I want to get done from any specific course, but I have set myself goals about that, and I just try to keep up with the schedule that I have set. As I said earlier, I study from home, and all of my current studies are courses where the schedule is really flexible. So sometimes it's easy to kind of like slip and do something else than study when I'm supposed to be studying. So of course I will try to keep up with, you know, the schedule that I have set for myself, especially now that I have not started my internship yet. Because when I will start my internship, of course, I won't have nearly as much time for studying. Speaking of internships, I have been looking for some places to do that in September, but I have not applied for any. But now in September, one main goal is to start applying. Then with YouTube, my goal is to upload 1 to 2 videos a week. I do have a lot of video ideas, so I hope I can upload 2 videos most weeks. But then again, I don't want to take too much pressure and stress out of it. So if there is a week when I'm not able to do 2 videos, 1 is totally fine. And then when it comes to workout, now we have gotten to the season when I don't want to go cycling anymore. It is too cold for that. In September I still went for a couple of times. But now I do want to go to gym 3 times a week. That is going to be my official workout goal, as well as walking 10,000 steps most days. I find it is really easy on those days when my kids go to daycare and I walk them there. But then on weekends, for example, I need to see a little bit more effort to get there. I'm going to do lipstick off camera. I will be using the Charlotte Tilbury Hot Lips 2 lipstick in Red Hot Susan, but since this is just a casual everyday, I'm trying to do kind of like a blotted lipstick today, but I want some brightness added to my face. Okay, so this is the finished look. I still think it maybe leans a little bit more towards autumn than spring. The lipstick is bright, but the other colors are pretty muted. And I feel since my sweater today is kind of like this muted, really warm white, and then the tones in my makeup are more kind of like muted, other than the lipstick maybe. It leans a little bit more autumn, but I do really like the lipstick. Oh, and by the way, I didn't go for blotted lip. I tried it, but it just felt too muted for me, even though the color was brighter. So I did then some red lip liner to have a more crisp look. I just kind of like need to find new ways to make my more muted things work, and I think it is by adding brightness. So if I'm wearing a muted colored top like today, wear something brighter on my face. Doesn't necessarily mean colorful, but brighter neutral tones like light. By the way, I also want to mention you the fragrance of today, because why not? I have been getting into fragrance this year and I have purchased some. I have some testers still, but I do have now this little bit larger tester from Mancera Amore Cafe, which is my fragrance of today. I actually tested this out already in a smaller sample in spring, and I was a little bit disappointed because it wasn't coffee enough for me. And I remembered it being more like a creamy vanilla, and I just felt that I have not found my perfect kind of like creamy, maybe a little bit lactonic vanilla. So I thought I'm going to give this a second chance. However, what throws me off a little bit with this one is that it has a really strong amaretto note. I don't think this is a bad perfume, I just don't think it's perfect, so I'm not going to buy a full bottle after I have gone through my sample. This is a 5 ml sample and I do have maybe 1/3 left. So yeah, a little bit too much of boozy note here for me. I like it in some perfumes, but in here it's not what I necessarily wanted. And then also at some point in the dry down, this gets just to be really sugary and it doesn't really have that vanilla being so strong. I still want to read you the quote from my calendar. I do have this 18-month calendar from last summer until December 2025. So this one has for each month a quote. And for October it says, "Amazing things will happen," which sounds amazing. I think it's going to be a pretty basic month, like, you know, there is going to be our wedding anniversary, which is of course going to be great, but other than that, it is just our basic life, like studying. I will try to keep up with the workout, things like that. But that is everything for today. Thank you so much for watching this video, and I hope to see you in my next one. Bye bye.